Alright, this is lesson 42, point slope form of a line. So today we're going to talk about building upon one more concept. We've been talking about how to graph a line, right? And then we use this slope-intercept form, y is equal to mx plus b. Remember all that from before? Slope is y, or slope is m, and then the y-intercept is b, right? So today we're going to talk about how do we write this line if I just give you a point and a slope, okay? Let's say it was -2. How would we figure that out, okay? We worked with Desmos last week. We played around with it. So today we're going to just work on paper because you need to know how to do this skill, okay? Here's the slope. Identify the slope. M, identify one point on the line. And then plug it into the formula. Y minus y1 is equal to slope times x minus x1. And then write the final equation in slope-intercept form. Okay? So, here we go. Number 1. Write the linear equation with points slope form. So number 1 and number 2 are different, but they're the same. Number 2 is harder than number 1. Okay? So number 1 says -5, 0, the slope is 1. So I know that my m is equal to 1, right? And that I have a point up here. It's -5, 0. So I'm just going to, and my slope I could write as a fraction, 1 over 1. This point, this is my x1. -5 is x1. 0 is y1. And I'm going to start with the point slope form of the formula, which is right here. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. You have to memorize this, or you'll use it a lot tonight. Okay. So we're plugging this, or writing this formula down, and then we're going to plug in these numbers. So we're going to leave y alone. We're just going to copy that down. Minus, and then y1 is 0, which is equal to our slope is 1, m is 1. And then our x is, we're going to leave it alone, but x1 is -5, so it's like minus -5. And we're going to leave that alone. So now we have to simplify. We have y minus 0 is just going to be y. Then we have 1 times x is just x, or we'll just bring the rest down. We subtract the -5 by adding 5, right? And we ask ourselves, what's 1 times x? Well, 1 times x is just x, or 1x. And then 1 times 5 is 5. Okay, bring down the y. And there's your answer to number 1. Y is equal to 1x plus 5. Okay? So we just got a point and the slope, and here's the formula. What does this tell us? This line, if I were to graph this, it'll go through that point with this slope. Okay? Make sense? Okay, number 2 is a little harder. Number 2, does it give me a slope? No, it gives me 2 points, but with 2 points I could find a slope, okay? So, and by the way, you need to know how to do this for geometry. Early next year you're going to be working on this, okay? So, we're using this now, and you have to remember it for the future. So we have 2 points here, 4, 3, and -3/2. So we're going to, that's just an example of what that first one. We're going to write down x1, y1, x2, y2, okay? We're identifying these. And then I have to think about what's the slope formula. Remember a couple of weeks ago, what is the slope formula? Y2 minus what? What do you think it is, kids? What was it? Over? Good, okay. So we're plugging these in. You have to work out the problem, putting each of these into parentheses, right? And then I'm noticing 2 minus 3 is -1. -3 minus 4 is, again, -7. What's -1 divided by -7? Positive 1/7, right? Makes sense? Negative divided by negative is positive. Okay, so that is my slope. Okay. So now we're going to do this just like we did number 1. We have a slope and we have our first point here. You could pick whatever point you want, really, but we're going to plug it into this formula we have up here. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And we're just plugging in our numbers, right? We have y minus 3 is equal to 1/7 times x minus 4. Now this looks scary because you have 1/7 here, right? But it's not too scary. What's 1/7 times x? Well, it's 1/7 x. Okay? Then we have 1/7 times -4. Well, you just multiply the numerators. What's 1 times -4? -4, and then just bring the denominator down. See? Was that so hard? Okay. Now we have to isolate the y because we want it to be so that y is by itself in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to add 3, both sides. So I'm going to have to add 3 to this fraction here. So how do I write 3 as a fraction? Over 1, right? Do I have a common denominator right now? No. What common denominator should I use between these two? 7. So it's going to be negative 4 sevenths plus 21 over 7. So what's negative 4 plus 21?
18.
Nope.
17.
Good, 17. So it's got to be y is equal to 1/7 x plus 17 sevenths. That's it. Okay? You could do fractions. If you get fractions down your freshman year, wow, your life's going to be easier through your whole time in math, okay? All right, so that's numbers 1 and 2. Any questions on numbers 1 and 2? Okay, so let's have you... Number 3. Number 3 is just like number 1, so we're going to do this one together. We're doing this one together. We got a point that's going to go through 1, 3. That's our ordered pair or coordinate, and it's got a slope of 2. All right? So, do we need to calculate the slope? No, it's already given to us. So let's start with writing down y, or identifying x1, y1, and our slope. And then we're going to write down y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, okay? That's the first thing we're going to do. So write this down. We're doing this one together, so you're working along with me all the way through. This one you're doing together. Okay? Turn to your neighbor and tell him what y1 is again. 3, good. So we're going to write y minus 3, and then we're going to put 3 in parentheses. Anytime we replace a variable with a number, we're going to put it into parentheses. Is equal to, what's our slope? 2, good. So we're going to put 2 times x minus, and then our x1 is? What's our x1, everyone? Good. Good. Okay, so now we're going to simplify this a little bit. We're going to write y minus 3 is equal to, and we got 2 times x. What's 2 times x? 2x, good. Now we're going to do the next one. And what's 2 times negative 1? Negative 2, okay. Turn to your neighbor. Tell him what you would do next in this to finish it up. Okay, what are we doing, everyone? Add 3 to both sides, right? So we got y is equal to 2x all plus 1. And that's it. That's number 3. Okay. I want yours to look like mine, so I'm going to give you about 20 seconds to catch up. This is just a little hint. I'm going to give you a little pre-hint because I want you not to get freaked out. But I want you to answer this. This is a fraction problem. What's 3/2 times 2? What's that? What's 3/2 times 2? 6/2, right? And then what is, oh, darn it. What's 6/2? What's 6 divided by 2, everyone? 3, right? So the answer here would be 3 for this part, right? Just keep this in mind as you do number 4, okay? Go. Okay. Should have plugged it in. 3 over 2 times x is 3 over 2x. What's 3/2 times negative 2? What did we say it was? Negative 3, right? Remember this side problem?
Oh, that's what you...
Oh, okay.
I get you.
Okay? And then how do we get y by itself? We subtract 2 on both sides. You get y is equal to 3/2 x minus x. Raise your hand if you made a mistake or made a silly mistake at some point. Okay, I want you to identify and think about what you just did, and then tell your neighbor, I made a mistake by... Okay? I want you to say it out loud, and then also say how you're going to fix it next time. Say, next time I will...
Next time I will...
Okay, go. Okay. Continuing on, number 5. Now, number 5 I'm going to do with you, okay? So, number 5 is a bit harder. This one is like number 2. So, we're doing this one together right now. So, clear up your iPads. We're doing this one together. Okay, we're at 2 points, -5, -1, and 0, -5. So, first thing we want to do we know the slope up here? No, so how do we figure out the slope? What's the formula for slope? M equals y2. What is it, everyone?
y2 minus y1 and x2.
Where? Where do we write x2 minus x1? Under what?
Parentheses. I mean, not parentheses, a fraction.
Under a fraction, good. Okay, so we're plugging these in, right? We're doing this together. Working this out. Let's hope everyone's doing this with me. You're not just staring. This is not me teaching at this point. This is me working with you. Okay, work this out. Tell me what your slope is supposed to be. I'll give you 30 seconds. What's the slope, everyone? Okay, so you should have had, plug these in like so. Let's see if you're right. -4/5. That's correct. Okay, good. Now we're plugging this. Now that we have the slope, okay, and we have our point, let's plug it in, okay? So we got y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Please write this down for me, this line. We're doing this together. This one's together. Okay? So now we're plugging it in. What's y1 again? Okay, good. -5. I'm doing a little side problem here so we can see what's going on. So we got y minus a -1 is equal to -4/5 times x, and then x1 is -1. Okay, I'm sorry, x1 is -5. Okay, now I put this on the side here. You see -4/5 times 5. I did this to show you what's -4/5 times 5. Well, it's like saying -20/5, right? Okay, what's -20 divided by 5?
5.
-4. Okay, so keep this in mind as you finish the rest of the problem. I want you to finish this one off now. Okay, finish it off. Go. We have y minus a -1. It's like saying y plus 1. What's -4/5? Oh, man. Here's your final answer, too. What's -4/5 times x? -4/5 x, right? Now I got a question. What's -4/5 times, or before that, what's a -5 really equal to? Good. So what's -4/5 times +5? What was it? -4, right? So when you get to these steps, even though I gave you the problem beforehand, you need to be able to do this by yourself. This was, remember doing this a couple months ago, or at the beginning of the year we did all these fraction problems?
Yes.
You need to do these, okay? These aren't like, they're going to go away, okay? So you do a side problem and then you got -4. We're going to subtract 1 on both sides. So you got y is equal to -4/5 x minus 5. That's your answer. Okay? That makes sense? Okay. So number 6, I want you to do number 6 by yourself now. Number 6 will be a little bit easier than 5, but you take the same steps. This one's by yourself. I'll give you 3 minutes.
Questions like that going to be on the homework tonight?
Here it is, 3x plus 3.
It's going to be a bitch.
Raise your hand if you did it correctly.
Yeah!
Good job. Raise your hand if you were really close. You made a silly mistake at some point. Okay, turn to your neighbor, tell them how you got it wrong.
Not me, it's for me.
And that concludes the lesson.